I'm coming straight out.
New York, big city of dreams.
NYC.
What's going on? This is JLS for the Nick of Time show. Here to give you that Knicks talk just in the nick of time. And it's time, man, to talk about some stuff, man. The Knicks just lost to the Golden State Warriors. And I feel like, we didn't learn our lessons from that Timberwolves game, but we're going to talk about it today. Before you get into that thing, I'm going to introduce my guys, man. First and foremost, we have Mr. Reliable, the man, the myth, the legend, the guy with the stats and the facts.
Ryan G's in the building.
Damn right he's in this building, all right? And, of course, this man. He's been on the post-game show a few times. He's also one of the hosts for Knicks, Jets, etc. And he's also talked with me a couple of times on the Nick of Time show. It is a guy, Alex TriCaster, here to join us, man. What's going on, dog?
What's going on, Jay? What's going on, Ryan? How you doing today?
All right. I'm in a good mood. I'm in a way better mood than yesterday when things was going down live, The Golden State Warriors, they kind of spoiled our little homecoming because it's been the first game back, for the fans. So it was nice watching the game with actual fans, actual boos, actual cheers. Julius Randle is greeted with MVP chants. You know what I mean, Ryan? Remember the MVP? Yeah, it was MVP chants.
Yes, MVP. Yeah.
Yeah, we saw some cool stuff. We saw Walt Clyde Frazier hitting on moms. It was like there were some fun stuff that we saw yesterday. Everything but the win was fun. You know what I mean? But we're gonna talk about it. The New York Knicks lose to the Golden State Warriors, 106-114, led by our MVP, first-time All-Star, Julius Randle, who drops 25 points, 10 rebounds, 7 assists. 5 of those are on the offensive side of the ball. And his Robin today, or yesterday rather, was Elfrid Payton, believe it or not, who started out really fast. Gave you some points, gave you some assists, gave you 20 points, 4 assists, and 3 rebounds. And when you see numbers like that, you automatically think, okay, Elfrid Payton scores 20 points, that's a dub. That's been a trend, right? You seen the stats. If Elfrid Payton hits 5 points, 5 shots or more, the Knicks win. Like, that's the thing, but it didn't happen yesterday. So, try. Alex, man, let me know. What do you think of this game? What happened, man?
Oh, man, this game, it started off pretty promising because we went into the half up by 4. And they came out flat in the third quarter, man. That was really, it was just like true Knicks, third quarter of doom. RJ didn't have it. Bullock didn't have it. D Rose was the only one on the bench that really had it. So it was gonna be a tough game. Yesterday for the pregame, I said the Knicks had to score in order to keep up. They scored. They got 106 points, but they weren't getting it from everybody. So you knew where it was coming from. It was either going to be Julius Randle, it was either going to be Elfrid Payton, or Derrick Rose. And then everything else, there was just kind of like a lot of forced shots. I mean, RJ himself had a couple drives and
really
shots that were very, it was a very bad game for RJ. And he took a lot of questionable shots too, especially down the stretch. I just can't get out of my head like the where he pushed the ball, like try to make a transition score and just like it just went nowhere.
Yeah,
he got the foul, but it just went nowhere.
Yeah, yesterday, man, that was the worst RJ game I've seen of the season for me, and there's been games where he's gone 0 for whatever from 3, and he just missed shots. But yesterday was everything. It was the missed shots. It was the decision making. It was Kelly Oubre taking his cookies. Like how you let a boy like that with curly hair take it? I don't understand. But Kelly Oubre took his cookies, and he just didn't really. I don't know. He just seemed out of it. He seemed one step slow, and he didn't really compete. And it's funny because we've been talking about rotations this whole time, right? And we're complaining. Some people were complaining. Well, I was complaining a little bit about RJ's minutes when he's he's been getting too many minutes early, and then lately he's been sitting in the fourth quarter when he's not playing well. He plays the worst game of the season. I tweeted this. I was like, oh, I foresee him sitting in the fourth quarter. If I was a betting man, I would have bet money that he was sitting in the fourth quarter. It didn't happen.
Yeah.
And we lose the game. I just didn't understand that whole thought process and rationale of RJ playing in that fourth quarter. But it is what it is. Ryan, let me know, what did you see in this game, man? What did you see?
Well, before I even say my thoughts about the game, I do want to point out something though, because I felt like going into this game when I thought about it, I felt like this is a game that the Knicks might lose, because you have to think about it. First home game in front of fans,
Facts.
so you know the emotions are there.
Mm-hmm.
Julius Randle was just named an All-Star, and then on top of that, they had his mom on the big screen.
Facts.
You know,
Yeah.
you know, congratulating him and things of that nature. And then on top of that, Golden State is going into this game on a 2-game losing streak.
Yeah,
So you know
hungry.
they're exactly. So you know they're going to be hungry for a win. And then you pile all that together, and then the fact that Golden State just has this bad man named Steph Curry on their squad. On top of that, like, he pretty much shut it down in the fourth quarter and pretty much sealed the game away for the Knicks. But I mean for the Golden State Warriors. But for what I saw in the game, it was just. The Knicks at times just looked very lethargic. Like, they started the game lethargic.
Yeah, absolutely.
Golden State jumped out to that early lead. The second unit definitely helped them come back in the game. I mean, if you check the stats, the plus minus for the bench is crazy. But then you look at the starters, like Julius Randle minus 21, Reggie Bullock minus 21, Elfrid Payton minus 22, RJ Barrett minus 21. So, I mean, the starters didn't hold up their end of the bargain. The bench did. But I felt like, you only like Alex said, there was only production from really 3 players, and when you only have 3 players scoring against a team like Golden State, that's going to put up buckets. That's going to make it really tough for the team to pull out the win.
Yeah, absolutely, man. And I'm gonna expound on your point about the starters. And like you said, this was a letdown game. This is one of those games. When Ryan, like when teams, they win a championship. Like, I feel like this happens. Teams win a championship. They have the banner flowing, and
Yep.
the ring ceremony. All the teams are like cheering. The family's there. Ooh, we got it. Yeah, we're all happy. And then like the team that's across the street looking at this is like, oh, y'all think y'all good, huh? Y'all think y'all nice? We gonna smack fire out of you just because y'all just won that. I feel like that's exactly what happened. Like,
Yep.
That's exactly what you explained to me, Ryan. It's like we're mentally too happy. We too mentally soft that day. We're mentally soft that day. And not to mention, it's just hard to beat teams 2 times in a row, especially the way we beat Golden State before with no Draymond Green and Steph not playing well. And so I totally agree with that. And on top of that, we missed a lot of easy buckets, man. We missed a lot of easy buckets. Nerlens Noel, for example. Listen, the Golden State Warriors, they changed up their defensive schemes. We were able to pick and roll them to death the first time. Between IQ, between Randall, between RJ Barrett, we were able to pick and roll them to death. They switched up their whole defensive scheme against us. They trapped at the pick and roll, and they forced us to do other things. And it stopped us from scoring a lot of time. And you saw Nerlens Noel had a lot of easy looks at the basket and just straight up missed them. Straight up missed them. And then also on top of that, he had players open in the corner, passing to the corner. It happened to be Elfrid Payton. He would also, straight up miss that because you know what it is. It's Elfrid Payton. He's not going to shoot that 3. He's going to the hole.
Yeah.
So it's kind of surprising that we kind of even still in the game, because we were down, I think, 11 points in that first quarter or so before we kind of went on an 8-0 run to even get back in that game. You know what I mean? So I mean, we fought, but the fight wasn't all the way there. Really. But you know what? Who was fighting the second unit though? Let's talk about the second unit, because one of the pros of this game to me was the second unit, Derrick Rose specifically, and I know what it is. I feel like Derrick Rose is both a pro and a con, and I'll explain that later.
Oh boy, I want to hear the con though.
I'm very curious about this one.
Yeah. I'm setting it up. Derrick Rose is a pro and the con, and if you want to hear what I'm about to say now hit that thumbs up button so you can hear what I say later. All right, just if you're curious, hit the thumbs up button. All right. So here's the thing about Derrick Rose, and this is what I was getting on him about last few games. We all know the second unit has been struggling. Derrick Rose and Emmanuel quickly specifically, right? They were like 1 for 35 in the past 2 games before this Golden State game. And what I've been saying about Derrick Rose in particular was I feel like he's been pressing. I feel like he's been chucking a little bit. Like when he first got here, when he came here and he's playing Miami and when he's playing Atlanta in those teams, I feel like he was looking to set up his teammates a lot more. And I also felt like that was rubbing off on guys like Alec Burke. And I think he went away from that. We've had a long practice where they've been practicing with each other. And I do feel like Derrick Rose got his stuff together a little bit this game. And he came out passing the ball. 6 assists in the first half. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Pushing the pace. We actually had, I think it was 12 fast break points in this game. Like we end up with 0 a lot of time. And because of him pushing the pace, I just feel like everybody was pushing the pace a little bit more. Even Elfrid Payton, who had a 20-point game, I feel like the pressure of Derrick Rose being here just fueled the fire for him to put together a good game because there's somebody nipping at his tail. You know what I mean? So I'll say that Derrick Rose passing, especially in that first half, was great. The shooting in that first half as well was a lot better than the last few games, and that's to be expected. You didn't expect him to go, 1 for 10 for the rest of the season, and I thought, I thought that rubbed off on the second unit. And for the most part, our second unit did well. Like those second and third or fourth quarters, when we was getting leads or we was extending leads was through the second unit.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. No.
Yeah. Pretty much.
No, yeah, absolutely. The second unit was doing most of the work, and especially in the first half, right? That's how we got up by 4 points. Unfortunately, they all went ice cold in the second half, and I think it went from. I think if you're alluding to that, Derrick Rose took a lot of shots in the second half. I think it was, justified because, Emmanuel quickly, he was passing up some shots. He wasn't really feeling comfortable. I mean, we had Taj who was missing some bunnies.
Right.
My God, Obi Toppin was, he was out there for a limited time, but he showed a little bit of something, right? He's slowly getting comfortable with the game, but Tibbs pulled him out for Julius Randle because we needed some scoring late in the second half. Right. And then you have Burks, I love Burks. He's a glue guy. He's passing the ball well. I feel like it's been infectious just because Derrick Rose is now showing up, and it gives him that flexibility to be a quasi playmaker and a shooter. But he wasn't feeling it in the second half either. He couldn't. He had a few buckets, but unfortunately, it was just not enough. So I think for Derrick Rose, when you're looking around at the team, and if IQ's being bashful about taking a shot, or you're seeing the rest of the team is just not even making easy lands like Taj, what else can you do except say, all right, it looks like I got to try to put the team on my back for the second unit at least to try to do something. So I think it was pretty justified by Derrick Rose to take all those shots, and that's why Tibbs left him in towards the end of the game and brought in Payton and with RJ, with Julius, and you had Taj ending the game because for the most part between Derrick Rose, Payton, and Julius, those were the only 3 guys that you had going, and so it made sense to have all those 3 guys,
Yeah, and just to continue to what Alex is saying, if there's one game where I'm not gonna blame Derrick Rose to take a lot of shots, is this game because, say for example, quickly, there was one moment in the game where Quickly had a wide open 3, and he hesitated, which is not like him, So it's like when you don't have Quickly scoring the ball, and then they didn't really have no other option on offense really scoring for you, then it's like Derrick Rose has no choice to be like, you know what, I'm gonna put this game on my shoulders and see if I can get the team back in the game. Because I think in the fourth quarter, in the beginning of the fourth, the Knicks had 6 or 7 stops straight on Golden State, and they couldn't buy a basket.
Absolutely.
And, and it's like nobody was scoring. So I don't blame Derrick Rose for trying to put it on his back to see if he was trying to get the team back into the game. So that's one game where I'm not going to blame Derrick Rose because I think Quickly was being passive, and I feel like they weren't getting enough offensive production from all the other guys coming off the bench.
All right, cool. Now, check this out, fam. I'm not blaming Derrick Rose for taking the shots. This is what I'm ultimately saying. and how do I put this? It's weird when you're ending a game with Derrick Rose, Elfrid Payton, and also RJ Barrett, who wasn't shooting, right? Who wasn't shooting well. Like, that was just weird. You all know what happens in the fourth quarter with the spacing. It gets tight. Those drives that were working in that first half don't work in the fourth quarter. And that's exactly what happened today. And I would also like to point out that, hi, my name is Nancy. And I was worried about, back in the day, last week, I specifically said my biggest worry about bringing Derrick Rose here is Tom loves Elfrid Payton, and he also loves Derrick Rose. And what you're going to see happen is quickly is going to be left out of the equation, not being playing on ball as much, and his minutes get cut. Lo and behold, in this game, he ends the game with Elfrid Payton and Derrick Rose playing the 1 and 2, leaving no spacing, with RJ Barrett, who has his worst game of the year, playing the 3. And then you're like wondering why we're missing so many layups in the fourth quarter.
Here's the thing I'm gonna say about this though, because I see where you're coming from, and trust me, the way RJ Barrett was playing in this game, I probably would have sat him in the fourth quarter because it was clear that RJ did not have it, and I would have probably put Quickly out there or another shooter out there.
Mm-hmm.
But I kind of get Thibodeau's thinking, because Thibodeau's thinking like, okay, Quickly doesn't have it, so it's like, okay, I'm gonna put Rose and Payton back here because Rose has 16 points. He's one of the guys carrying us. Payton was carrying us, especially in the first quarter. Especially in the first half when he was playing, like he was getting to the hoop at will. So it's like you're thinking, okay, Rose, Payton, they're actually scoring with Julius Randle. We're gonna end the game that way. RJ Barrett playing, I'm not really sure where the thinking where the thinking came from there, but it's like I get it. Like quickly wasn't showing no signs of life, and Bullock wasn't showing no signs of life. Like none of the shooters were showing signs of life. Burks, nobody. So it's like, you know what? I think it was like, just F it. Like I'm gonna put these guys out there. I'm gonna see if they can. Carry us to the win. I feel like that's what he was thinking, because he had no other turn to. Like none of the shooters were shooting. So it's like,
I mean, no, I would at least do Burks, man. I don't know, man. I guess this is. Go ahead, Alex.
I'm saying, it's so funny because JLs, when I heard you ask, like, why is Peyton all these guys in there? I'm like, I know you're gonna come to like, where's the shooting at this point? Because like when you watch that lineup, and just to add on to what Ryan's saying too, like I agree. I think Tibbs just said, you know what, F it. I just gotta throw these guys out there because I'm looking at my rook who's a sharpshooter and quickly, and he's being timid out there tonight. He only had one shot. It was only one 3-pointer that he made, which was like, it was nice. But then after that, he was just kind of hesitant to let it fly. So that's what you need out of Quickly, though. And that's the whole point of like having D Rose with Quickly, is that so Quickly can just roam off ball and go find his spots, while Derrick Rose just brings that attraction, just like knowing that he can attack the paint. And he didn't have it. So I get why he didn't have Quickly out there. And that's fine. I agree, though. When you look at RJ, who was not having it going, that's where the head scratcher is. I'm like, okay, sure, last game he came down the stretch and had a really good game against the Timberwolves. Down the stretch, he had a key bucket off the glass to get over Cat, just to help us bring us with it to win, right? Mm-hmm. And you're maybe like, okay, why don't I put this guy back out there? Because he did it against Cat. He did it against the Timberwolves in crunch time, because he didn't do it. What was the game that we lost? What was it against? Was it Orlando? I think it was against Orlando. Yeah, and was it Orlando that he had the play? No, it was Miami. Like, you remember the Miami game where the play was drawn for him. He came around the screen, went downhill, and he missed it. And it's like, all right, RJ did it this time against the Timberwolves. Let's see if he can do it again. And right. I can get why you put him out there when you're not getting anything else from Quickly. I don't know. I would kind of love Burks out there though, because RJ was not showing it though. Yeah, like I can like rationalize where that logic is going, but when I look at it, it's like, put a shooter out there. Like, give me Burks. Like, it's so funny that Bullock hits the 1 3-pointer at the end of the game.
It's like, really, like
anybody else though? Anybody else?
At this point, man. And just the fact that Tibbs just took so long to make an adjustment in that third quarter when we were getting spit-anked. I was like, all right, this is the score is running up. Can we make a change now? Like, we calling timeouts, cool, dope. Timeout, talk about it. You call timeout, bring them back outside, and they do the same thing. You call timeout again, you bring them out, and it's the same result. I've watched Julius Randle on JJ Redick's podcast talk about, accountability, right? And he's like, I want a coach who's gonna make me accountable. And Tibbs, for the most part, has been holding people accountable. You can see he's yelling at people through the sideline. He's turning bright red, and But I feel like the last step of accountability is taking minutes. That's the last step. And I feel like he has to do that at some point with some of these guys if they're not producing.
Yeah, I get that. Like I get what you're going for, but it's like, do you want him to do it like we're not seeing like this is like the first game where they've like really had like a bad stretch from like the first unit all around, like against the Wolves, right? It was the first unit that dragged them through that whole game.
Yeah.
And the previous game, like even though we lost to the Magic, it was the first unit again. So it's kind of like, okay, I see the second unit has it going. I get it, but it's like the first unit has been pretty reliable for the last couple of games. So I get it, but I get what you're saying, Jails. I totally get it. At some point, like if you see something like consistent, like and it's not working, you got to change. And I'm all for like, if you see a player that's not having it during that game. And it's like a stretch, like even when we had Austin Rivers, right?
Right.
And he was having like he had a bad stretch. I'm like,
what?
Okay,
and
you
I'm
clearly
looking
see
at the bench, like Knox, Frank,
exactly.
somebody.
Yes. At that point, like when it's so many games in a row, and I'm seeing someone just not do it, it's like, all right, we have other guys. Pull this guy and do it. But like for one game, like if this happens again the next game, I'm gonna be like, all right, maybe we should just be like. Try somebody else, but once again, like I get the thought process. I think it's not bringing in the second unit who's having it sooner. I agree with you. I agree with you 100%. I agree with that. And I also agree with like RJ Barrett, just like not like should not have been in the fourth quarter. This is like the game where it's like if there's a time where RJ didn't have to play tonight. Yesterday night was that night.
That was it.
I agree with just like trying to like hold like get on Tibbs, but it's like I feel like this game was just like it's a weird game to like really evaluate. In all honesty, for me.
And I'm gonna qualify this by saying this. I always have to every time I criticize Tibbs, I have to say this. I appreciate everything Tibbs is doing.
Yeah.
This is the best coach we've had. I have this old memorized in my head. This is the best coach we've had since Mike Woodson. I like the job he's doing overall. He's heading the team in the right direction. He got Julius Randle to be an all-star. I like him in general. I'm just criticizing the things that I'm seeing go wrong.
You know what you remind me of right now, Jay Ellis? Remember on First Take when Stephen A. ever talked about LeBron James and people thought he was hating on LeBron every time he talked about, whenever he said something that was like negative about LeBron.
Am I getting compared to Stephen A? Oh, Lord.
And then he have the bar at the bottom that says like LeBron's a great father and this and that and blah, blah, blah. Yeah, you remind me of Stephen A. right now.
Yo, because I criticized Tom Thibodeau like last week. This guy's like, give him a break. I was like, okay, maybe this is your first time watching the show, but I've give Tom Thibodeau praise every episode. So you know what I mean? I give him praise every episode. So just know that I still like Tom Thibodeau. I just have my weird qualms about him with his rotations, and I think a lot of people do at this time. I don't think I'm the only one at this point. Am I right?
No, you're right. I mean, look, I was just agreeing with you. Like when you have Austin Rivers who's just not showing it, even like when Reggie Bullock was not showing, I'm just like, okay. Can we get Knox in there? Can we get
If Derrick Rose wasn't here, would Austin Rivers still be in the lineup?
Oh my God, that's a terrifying question to.
As I'm saying,
like I like Austin Rivers too, but Derrick Rose has been finding people open for the most part.
Yeah.
Austin Rivers was not doing that, and that was my biggest concern when everyone's like, Austin Rivers should be the starting point guard. I'm just like, he's a good combo guard.
Yeah.
Nah.
Starting.
Yeah. Austin Rivers will dribble. That's what Austin Rivers does. He dribbles.
That's exactly what he does. He dribbles. And that's all. And that's all I'm saying. That's my biggest qualm with the game. I mean, we lost the game. The defense wasn't there once again. We got punched them out for the third quarter. I do feel like, I want to stop these bad habits before they start, because we saw it with the Timberwolves game. We got away with it. I don't want to reinforce bad habits by going, look, we can play lackadaisical and win, and just carry that on. I nip that in the bud. We were at this point. I know some Knicks fans don't want to be in the playoffs, but I know these guys. They've been losing for a while. They want to play for something. They try to make a playoff push, and if that's what you want to do, you can't have games. You can't have stretches when you don't play defense. And Tibbs, you have to be sharper with your rotations and just being adaptable in general when things aren't going correctly for long stretches of time. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. And breaking news, Ryan just told me. I want to hear your predictions of this. Ryan, before the pod started, he said that the New York Knicks, Elfrid Payton, will not be playing against the Sacramento Kings tomorrow.
Well, they didn't say he's not playing. They just say he's doubtful, which means more than likely he's not.
Okay,
which is more than likely he's not playing.
More than likely he is not playing with the Sacramento Kings tomorrow, meaning he is doubtful. Your predictions for the rotation. If Elfrid Payton isn't starting, who do you think is going to start tomorrow?
I think this is the obvious answer, Derrick Rose. It's obvious answer because
for sure.
Yeah, that's who we trust, and I feel like in place of Derrick Rose coming off the bench, it's gonna be Austin Rivers because I feel like he's gonna be the next guard in line. So my prediction: Derrick Rose starting, Austin Rivers coming off the bench.
Derrick Rose starting, Austin Rivers. So you're going Austin Rivers as the backup point guard.
Yes, coming off it quickly. Yes.
Whew. Alex. I know Derrick Rose is a lock. We all know that. We can already see that by the substitution patterns tell me. I watch substitution patterns. That's how I see That's how I see how the coaches are thinking. I watch substitution patterns. If you watch substitution patterns last week, it was kumbaya. Derrick Rose and quickly they came in together holding hands. We're gonna do this team, rah. Like that's how they subbed him last week. This week, Derrick Rose is in there dolo. So we already know Derrick Rose is starting. He's a point guard.
Oh man, yeah. If it's gonna be Derrick Rose, I'm probably gonna have to lean, Austin Rivers. I would like to see Frank get some touches tomorrow. I would like to see Frank as like a 2 or a 3 next to quickly playing the 1 because I think they could play the backcourt pretty well together. But it's most likely Austin Rivers who's gonna get the nod, just because when Frank was there, Austin Rivers was the first one off the bench when it came with the second unit with quickly. So. I can only imagine Austin Rivers coming in. I'd like to be shocked tomorrow.
I want to be shocked too. That'd be dope.
Yeah, I want to be shocked too.
I want to be shocked. If I see Frank play tomorrow and he plays well, I'm gonna be mad annoying. I'm just gonna let y'all know. I'm gonna be mad annoying.
But here's the thing though, man. Like if say by some miracle he plays Frank tomorrow in place of Derrick Rose coming off the bench since he's going to be starting, and Frank plays well. The thing is that when Elfrid Payton comes back, I can't see Frank coming back on the court even if he does play well.
That's the other thing I want to wonder, because Frank lost his spot because he got injured and then somebody else was playing well. You know what I'm saying? It's not necessarily he was playing bad. It's somebody else came back, and then he got injured. So if somebody else is playing well, will Elfrid Payton make his way back into the lineup?
I think so.
Yeah.
I think
it only works for rookies, right? It only works for.
Here's the thing: Peyton is locked like Reggie Bullock. Like Reggie Bullock was gone for a while, and as soon as Reggie was healthy, it's like, all right, Reggie, you're back out there. So I can own if he's been rocking with Peyton because he likes Peyton's defense, which is what Thibodeau is like known for, and what he's been saying. Peyton is coming back in, and he's going to start. Look. I get it. I agree. I would like to see some change. I know Elfrid Payton is like, it's tough to watch sometimes. Although I will say, Elfrid Payton's
He's been playing better.
He's been playing
Yes,
better.
yes.
So I'm not going to knock him for that. I'm going to give him credit where credit is due.
I agree.
So that's the only reason why is that he's been playing better, which I think is due to Derrick Rose now being on the bench, and Payton's like, look, I like my starting job.
Mm-hmm.
I like knowing I'm going to go in first. So I think Payton's just going to work to continue to get those minutes. So
No, you're right.
like, I think it's a lock for what we got. Honestly, I think what the 10 that we see is a lock, and unless someone's injured for an extended amount of time, are we going to see anyone else come in?
Any chance that this is a fake injury?
All right, so
Because trade deadline is approaching, and we got to see who can do what.
All right,
It's
I will
just,
say this.
conspiracy theory mind is going right now. I'm like, is this real? He just
All
played
right.
600 minutes yesterday, and now all of a sudden he's doubtful.
I'll say this. I only thought of that being conspiracy for Nerlens Noel because I'm like, I think Taj needs to get some minutes to get his legs back under him. So that's why when they have like Nerlens out for a few games, it's like we need to get Taj some run just so that he's like comfortable to go back out there at some
Right.
point. I don't know about this one though. I don't know.
You don't know? You don't know?
I
You don't think they're trying to
did-
shop Austin Rivers?
I mean, it's a possibility because Austin Rivers, even I think even the other day, I think it was Ian Begley or somebody asked Austin Rivers if he's aware of like the trade rumors and this and that. Austin Rivers is aware, so it's like Austin Rivers knows that it's a possibility that he might be moved before the trade deadline. But I don't know, man. I mean, the way where the Knicks are at the moment, the Knicks are trying to play for a playoff spot. I don't think they would sacrifice Payton going down with an injury just to play Austin Rivers and see if they can shop him.
I'm saying he's fake. It's the game. Sit down the game. Maybe I don't
Against
know.
the
I
Kings,
don't know.
though?
I don't know. I don't know. I don't know.
Against the Kings though, like
Ooh, against the Kings, we gotta beat the Kings. Oh, that has to be a dub. If we lose to the Kings just lost 8 straight, by the way, so we gotta spank them. Like if I swear, if we lose to the Kings, I'm flipping.
like
My remote's gonna look like Alan Hans if you lose to the Kings. All right, I don't know if you know what I'm talking about.
this is my thing too. It's like the Kings usually give us trouble, especially with De'Aaron Fox.
Yeah, De'Aaron Fox always cooks us.
I don't know if Tibbs, who loves Payton, is gonna say, "Sure, Payton, we just lost to the Warriors. Take a day off so we can shop Austin Rivers." I don't think Tibbs would be. I don't think this is that game to do it. If it was like the Timberwolves, I'd be like,
I don't know. I'm just thinking maybe it's World Wide West.
Shout out to World Wide West.
Maybe that's why. Maybe he's World Wide West. I don't know. I'm spitballing. I don't know. Conspiracy theories. He's shopping. He's shopping in the background. He's having secret meetings. I don't know.
I'll say this.
Don't believe me. Don't believe me, you two. I'm just spatting stuff.
I'll say this. Austin Rivers is intriguing enough because of his contract. Like his contract set up that a team would gladly take him on for $3 million this season, knowing that it's not fully guaranteed for the next 2 seasons. So I don't think there has to be that much like playing time to see that he still got it. He's still young. He's played well in Houston. He's played well for most of his stops. They know. I think everyone around the league knows what Austin Rivers is at this point. They're not looking for anything new. So if he's not getting minutes, I think the teams realize it's like, okay, they got Derrick Rose. A lot of these guys are playing well. I don't think it means that he's just terrible. I think it's that he hasn't had a shot to work his way out of his funk.
Right.
And there's just a new player in the rotation. But I still think teams will look to get Austin Rivers. I just don't know what his value is. He's definitely tradable, though.
Absolutely, yo. Like, I'm not sure what type of move the Knicks are making, but I'm pretty sure the Knicks are trying to make a move and go for this, before the trade deadline, seeing as that they got Derrick Rose and Austin Rivers just sitting here. I can see them trying to move 2 players for one bare minimum. I can see them doing that. Whereas Rivers franking something or something in that nature, I could see that happening before the trade deadline is over. I'm just not sure who at this point. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. All right. Yo, hit that thumbs up button if you like what you're seeing, man. We just doing a quick recap show. About to wrap it up real quick. I know my man got somewhere to go. You started a little bit late. But okay, let me just shout out to the chat. Let me just read some chats and then end the show real quick, talk about the schedule, then we wrap it up, all right? So you don't have to play Rivers to stop him. The league knows who he is, and his play not help shop him. Okay. Shout out to Rude A for the comment. Jimmy UCLA says, get Bill for the right price or Drummond. I've said it a million times on this show. I'm not good on this Drummond thing, man. Like, Drummond has no place here for us, man. I'm not playing first round picks for the old dinosaur center to pair with Julius Randle.
Yeah. Then on top of that, I already expressed my views on the Beal trade in the podcast show that we just posted up. It's not the right time for the Beal trade because the Knicks are not one piece away. The Knicks are still several pieces away, and to waste young assets at this point for Beal, I think is not the right move at the moment.
I agree with you. I definitely agree with you.
I agree as well.
Jimmy UCLA says Knicks fans want EP out. Well, yeah, we kind of do. I'm not gonna lie, but he's playing well, so I'm not gonna get him on him too much.
Yeah.
Johan Salmon says Frank never had a spot. Yeah, you're right, and even Knox's spot was kind of temporary because he act like he had a spot, but really his spot was really on the bench. They're using a situationship like all these other Knicks over here. He's in the wrong situation right now. That's for sure. All right.
Pretty much.
Yep. And I gotta shout the fat boy with kicks $2 super chat says we need Lonzo ASAP. A point guard activates the whole team. Thoughts on Lonzo Ball coming to the Knicks, guys?
I would love to get Lonzo Ball and have him run point for the Knicks, but it's just that I don't know. Lonzo's playing good on New Orleans right now, so I'm not sure how willing New Orleans is to trade him at the moment. I would think that they're probably more willing to trade Bledsoe right now. But hey, if the Knicks could get Lonzo, I'd be with it.
What is the price?
Yeah, it's definitely the price. I would like to get Lonzo too. I mean, if you could ship Elfrid Payton in that deal to get Lonzo Ball, I think they're looking to get a first-round pick in return. I don't know if I'm really ready to send a first-round pick when you could probably use that first-round pick to get something more. And on top of that, Lonzo is going to be a restricted free agent this offseason. So if you really want Lonzo, you could just pay him. And that's the other thing. If the Knicks are going to trade for him, they're going to have to pay him because you're not just giving up assets to let a guy walk out the door.
Exactly, because he's drafted the same year as Frank and these guys. So all those guys' contracts are expiring at the same time. So if we trading for him, that means we are planning on keeping him straight up. And shoot, I'd rather try to sign him in the offseason without giving up any assets if that's the case. But
I agree.
If we even try to get him, you know what I'm saying. But I need to see some better shooting from him overall for to consider even that. All right. So yeah, that's all I got to say about that. All right. So you know what? Let's play a quick bill real quick. Let me play a quick bill real quick. So shout out to the guys at Manscaped. This episode is brought to you by Manscaped. It says, hey fellas, we're in the thick of winter and a storm is brewing. It looks like 1 to 3 inches in the forecast. When you trim that hibernation bush, that's crazy. That's taking place in your pants. That's super crazy. Luckily, our partners at Manscaped specialize in products to make sure you're walking around town with beautiful snowballs.
Nice.
No comment.
Manscaped, I need extra for saying that. All right, I'm just letting you know right now. Just any extra for saying it. Yeah, get that trimmer 3.0 too. You already know what the deal is, man. You don't want down there looking like Fizdale's hair right now. So get the trimmer 3.0, shave down there, and it doesn't nick your knickers. It works in the shower, and it's waterproof and has LED lights so you can see what's going on. Trust me, it works. It's functional. It's better than regular clippers that you use to shave your face. You want to separate those guys, all right? Trust me.
Yes. You
don't line up your hair with the same clippers that you're using down there. Don't do that. Trust me.
That's a fact.
Yeah, most definitely. Don't forget the best kept secret: the ball deodorant.
Yep,
yes,
ball
go
deodorant.
get that. Go get that. Yes.
Your girl will thank you. All right. All right. To wrap it up, man, let's talk about this, man. I know Alex. The Knicks are in the thick of it in the playoffs. We could be in the playoffs and the play-in, and it seems like we're on track. But there's going to be another big hurdle to jump across, and that hurdle is the NBA schedule.
Yes.
The schedule has been released recently, and it's a little brutal, guys. It's a little brutal, especially towards the end. Towards the end, we were on a brutal West Coast trip. We played the Houston Rockets, the Memphis Grizzlies, the Denver Nuggets, the Phoenix Suns, the LA Clippers, and the Los Angeles Lakers in a 6-game stretch. If it's close and we're around 500, that little stretch can determine if we're a playoff or a play-in team. Thoughts on this record, guys? If there's any thoughts, I know it's not like a long, drawn out,
I mean, I look through the schedule, and in the second half of the schedule, the Knicks have very few gimmies. Like, the majority of those games are going to be tough games, or games where the Knicks are more likely going to lose. So the Knicks better be on it the second half of the season. Like, there's like the Knicks got to be on their P's and Q's. They got to definitely go after it, because anyhow, especially that 6-game road trip towards the end of the season, anyhow the Knicks are like 2-3 games like out of a spot, it's not gonna look good. Like, the Knicks got to really be on it, and they're gonna have to really try to see if they can get like at least like maybe a good 2-3 game cushion for those playoff spots,
right?
So that when they hit that West Coast trip, they can cover themselves and still get into the playoffs. But yeah, it's a really tough schedule, man.
Yeah, we have to do due diligence at this portion of the schedule to really make sure that we're doing things correctly, for sure. Any thoughts on this, Alex?
It's a brutal schedule, man. Overall, a lot of tough teams that we got to play. Between the Bucks, the Sixers, you got to play the Lakers, Grizzlies, Pelicans. The Knicks, as Ryan said, what we saw against Minnesota, they cannot come out and just be lax. They're not a team that can be lax any night. They have to be on at all times in order to win. They're just not there yet talent-wise. Like Julius Randle, all-star, kudos to him. Congrats. Like he's totally deserving of it, putting the team on his back this season. Truly is the engine of the New York Knicks. Complete 180 from last season. But him alone, it's not going to work. As we saw against the Warriors, he's going to need some help. We're going to need that second unit to really come in and play at that high tempo speed and provide the scoring and attack, and just really demolish second units that they were at the beginning of when we got D Rose. 74-point differential between opposing second units to begin with. That's what we need again in order for us to keep this winning streak, or to just continue winning in general, sustainable. Absolutely. And then the question is, are the Knicks going to be buyers at the deadline? It looks like they are, just based on what they did for D Rose, right? So we got to get shooting in that first unit, because Bullock by himself is not it. You need more than that. I know Julius Randle is shooting 41% from three right now. RJ has worked his way back up to a respectable league average around there from the remaining games, but we need better and more consistent shooters. We need those true 3-and-D guys. And Reggie Bullock he's so hit or miss that it's just not reliable. So the Knicks got to probably make a move before the trade deadline, and really just got to be on top of it if they're going to try and make the playoffs. It's a rough schedule, especially that West Coast trip. Playing the Lakers, Clippers, Grizzlies, it's not easy. It's not pretty.
And I'm gonna say this, and this is what I hope to happen. On some Zen, Julius Randle offset, grow from within, dog. Can we grow from within? I would love for Tom Thibodeau to do certain things to tweak some of these rotations, tweak some of these minutes, to get guys like Emmanuel quickly some more minutes, who's our best hope at getting shooting here. Mm-hmm. Get him some more minutes, get him some more touches at point guard, shooting guard, just get him more, more time in general. Obi Toppin, experiment with him some. There was a golden opportunity missed last game, and I get it. He wants to win sometimes, and he's scared to try stuff. Except he's happy to try Derrick Rose and Elfrid Payton together. But Obi Toppin, he was 3 for 3 yesterday. He played great defense all game, on guards, on big men. So reward the man for playing good. He hit a 3 right before he came out. Mm-hmm. Leave him in the game. Maybe get some space in there with Randle and Obi Toppin and another 3. Maybe you get some even extra spacing. Now that point guard who can go to the hole, might have a little bit more spacing now that we have 2 shooters at the center and power forward position. Maybe the answer is within if we just were able to try some things out. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and here is my concern too, because if you look at the schedule too, at most the Knicks only have 1 day off. Knicks are going to either be playing back to back, or they're gonna have one day off and then they have to play a game like on the other day. And my concern is that with Thibodeau, the way he the way he spreads minutes throughout the team, if it scares me that the team might be burned out.
Yes.
Towards the end of the schedule, and I just hope that Thibodeau will do a better job of monitoring minutes, in the second half of the schedule, and hopefully go beyond the 10-man rotation when needed, and play some of the guys like Knox, Frank. If Austin Rivers is still here, Austin Rivers and guys like that sometimes, just to give some guys a bit of rest, so they're not burned out by the time the season ends.
Yeah, absolutely, and that's that's exactly what I was doing with that also, Ryan. Like it'll help to give, because you already see that Randall, he's burnt out by the end of games, and you can see with his shooting. He shoots in the beginning, the first 2 to 3 quarters, his 3-point shooting is always on point. That fourth quarter, I feel like the legs get buckled down. He's only trying to go to the hole at that point, and I feel like if we get Obi some minutes, if we have Julius Randle playing less minutes, and we reward Obi with more time as he's playing, when it gets to the end of the season, we can save Julius Randle's legs. You know what I mean? Because we're gonna need him. He's been an iron horse for us all season, but that can help us tremendously towards the end if we're like more forward thinking and not just thinking about today.
I agree with both of you, and it's gonna be up to Tibbs to really adjust some minutes and really just stagger some minutes too, and to make it easier for Randle too, because especially when you see him with the first unit with the limited shooting, right? It doesn't help him at all. That's what's even more impressive. He's averaging 23 points while being in a lineup that doesn't have that much shooting.
Exactly.
I'd like to see him stagger it with Quickly. I'd like to see RJ stagger with Quickly and D Rose in that second unit to help it make it easier for them. Maybe that's just a way to get more points on the board and create a larger cushion. And then you can bring in Obi Toppin and just still do some mixing and matching. I agree with that take. So hopefully Tibbs can learn that, because, as Ryan pointed out, they're going to have at least one day off before the next game. The slate is difficult for the Knicks, and it's not really there's not a lot of chance to get a lot of rest.
Absolutely. All right, man. So that is our show. That's our show. Thanks for watching, you guys. Please subscribe to the channel if you have not already. Final shout out to everybody who's in the chat. Shout out to Rude A, Eric Castro, Junior Honre, everybody who was here early, Joe Madden, Rick Harrison, Nuggy Fresh. I see you, Nuggy Fresh in the building. Shout out to you. I always got to do that when I see my guy, Andrew Rodriguez. Shout out to everybody who supports Nick of Time, and also Alex Tricaster, man. Thanks for coming, man, and sharing your time with us, man. All right.
Jay Ellis, Ryan, thank you for having me on. I appreciate it as always.
Yeah, for sure. So where can you find you one more time, Alex?
Sir.
You guys can find my stuff at Hoops Habit, part of the Fanside Network. I cover the Knicks there and some of the NBA. Mostly Nuggets, so I'm not covering the Knicks. You can also find some of my stuff at KnicksFanTV.com. You can also find the podcast at Knicks Jets, etc. on all streaming platforms: Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Overcast, Stitcher. You name it, it's all there. And if you're all into sports betting, you can find me over at Tally Sites giving my input on the Knicks and some other NBA teams.
All right. Cool. Where can you find you, sir, Ryan?
You'll find me on Instagram at Sir G is Chillin'.
Sir G is chillin'.
That's SIR. G is CHILLIN. And you can find me on Twitter at Sir_G is best.
All right. You can also find us at the KOT Show on Twitter, Nick Time Show on Instagram, and also look at the blog too, nicktimeshow.com. Shout out to all the writers over there who are contributing. Rob, Ken, Mikey, Fritz, everybody who holds us down for us, man. Shout out to you guys, man. Y'all do a great job, man. Also, get some merch, man. KOT caps on sale. Shout out to, so if you cop one already, thank you for copping one. And we got more. Just go to nicktimeshow.com and get your KOT caps if you want to, plus more merch. All right. That is our show. Thanks for watching, guys. Please like, share, subscribe, man. We're gonna be doing a lot more of these. The next show will be on Friday to talk about that Kings game. That should be a win, damn it. If it's not, I'm flipping desks, I'm breaking phones, I'm causing havoc. All right.
Word.
All right. Shout out to you, Alan Han. That is our show. We out of here, man.